the Korean peninsula is once again on the brink. A ballistic missile fired into the sea, a nuclear-powered US carrier docked in South Korea, and fiery threats from Pyongyang's defense chief warning of more offensive action. As Washington and Seoul tighten their military grip, North Korea is responding with defiance, rage, and the promise of force. North Korea's defense minister, Kwang Chol, threatened on November 7th to take more offensive action as he condemned US security talks with Seoul and the arrival of a US aircraft carrier in South Korea. A day earlier, North Korea fired a ballistic missile towards the sea off its east coast, after denouncing on November 6th fresh US sanctions against North Korean individuals and entities that Washington said were involved in cyber-related money laundering schemes. South Korea's defense ministry on November 8th condemned the missile launch, while saying the North's criticism of the US-South Korea meeting was regrettable. No also criticized a recent visit by US and South Korean defense chiefs to the border between North and South Korea, as well as their subsequent security talks in Seoul, alleging they were conspiring to step up deterrence efforts towards the North and to integrate their nuclear and conventional forces.
This is a stark revelation and an unveiled intentional expression of their hostile nature to stand against the DPRK to the end.
The arrival of the US strike group also coincides with large-scale joint military drills, known as Freedom Flag, between US and South Korean forces. While in South Korea for the SCM talks this week, Hegseth posted several photos on social media of his visit to the Demilitarized Zone, DMZ, between the North and the South. US Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth said on November 4th that the core of the alliance with Seoul will remain focused on deterring North Korea, although Washington will look at flexibility for US troops stationed in South Korea to operate against regional threats. No also said the visit of the US nuclear-powered aircraft carrier George Washington to South Korea's southeastern port city of Busan this week, following US-South Korean joint air drills with Seoul, had escalated tensions on the peninsula. According to North Korean state media KCNA, No said,
"We will show more offensive action against the enemy's threat on the principle of ensuring security and defending peace by dint of powerful strength."
However, South Korea's Navy said the carrier's visit was to replenish supplies and grant leave for the crew. While visiting South Korea last week, US President Donald Trump repeated his willingness to sit down with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. No meeting took place, but Trump said he was willing to return to the region to meet Kim. Last week, North Korea also test-fired cruise missiles to the west of the Korean peninsula, just as Trump and other leaders were set to gather in South Korea for regional meetings. Regarding the latest missile launch, the US Indo-Pacific Command said on November 8th,
"It does not pose an immediate threat to US personnel or territory, or to our allies. The missile launch highlights the destabilizing impact of North Korea's actions,